This guy. He's nice looking, outdoorsy, and has worked as a surgical technician for years. But Rocky Allen's face is probably the last one you'd want to see if you were on the operating table.
He came in and he gave me something before I left, and I didn't understand it because they never did that at any other of my surgeries there.
Margaret Wergeson was a patient at Swedish Medical Center in Denver. She remembers the 28-year-old not only because he came back 3 times to administer narcotics to ease her pain, but she also remembers that nothing happened.
I said, "What did you give me? You know, it's not working."
That's because Allen allegedly took the drugs himself, shooting up the powerful narcotic fentanyl, then replacing the syringe and using it on Margaret, allegedly filled with saline. Margaret is just one of thousands of patients who may have been exposed to hepatitis and HIV.
When they said HIV and hepatitis C, I said, I don't want to die. And I hated him.
At this point, officials have not said if Allen has tested positive for any of these diseases. But patients are stressed because any time a substance abuser randomly swaps needles, it puts others at risk. The 28-year-old, a former Navy vet, has a glowing resume. He's worked in 2 naval hospitals and as a medical worker in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Kuwait. But the Golden Boy seems to have led a double life. After the accusation surfaced, the hospital fired him. A reporter at our Denver affiliate, KDVR, confronted Allen at his home, but he didn't have much to say.
Calling about the Swedish hospital suspension. You know it's going to hit the news tonight? I do. Okay. Anything you want to say? No, sir. So they're saying that you may have exposed people to HIV, etc.? No, sir. Can you tell me what you did then? No, sir. No comment.
Documents allege Allen has a long history of substance abuse that somehow never prevented him from finding work. The tech jumping from hospital to hospital and crossing state lines, allegedly to fuel his insatiable appetite for drugs. His first stop, Scripps Green Hospital in San Diego, where he worked for only 20 days before he got the axe.
Another operating room employee witnessed him attempting to switch fentanyl, the pain medication, for saline.
This statement from the manager of patient care reveals details about her meeting with Allen following the allegation. You were observed watching the doctor, and when he turned his back to draw up medication, you were seen switching syringes and taking the syringe from the cart and placing it in your scrub pants. You were asked what you planned on doing with the syringe of fentanyl, and you said you were going to inject it. After his short San Diego stint, Allen worked at 2 Arizona hospitals, where he was fired after testing positive for drugs. That's when he moved to Denver, where allegedly his disciplinary employment history went undetected. Now, patients are lawyering up, and they want answers. Attorney James Avery represents 14 patients, including 2 who have tested positive for hepatitis. He says Swedish Medical Center didn't follow protocol.
The surgical technologist was administering drugs to the patient, which is clearly forbidden by the Colorado statute.
The feds busted Allen, charging him with tampering and obtaining a controlled substance by deceit. He pleaded not guilty. For now, close to 3,000 potential victims will be given free blood screenings, but it will take weeks for the results to come in.
Had a breakdown. I mean, that's a lot to deal with when you're paralyzed and you just had a stroke and you're going through a lot of things. To hear that too.
Allen's trial is scheduled for April. Until then, he's free on bond. The judge requiring him to stay in a halfway house, submit to drug testing, and perhaps the most important, find a job out of the medical field.